This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social in association with Betfred. It's been about 12 hours since I last saw you, Eddie.
What are we going to talk about?
I'll find something, I'll get something out of you. I mean,
You'll get some views, won't you?
basically.
Do you look at me and go, fucking hell, there's Hearn over there? I mean, we did an interview yesterday, but let's be honest, he smashes the views. So even if I can get him talking shit about something, it's going to be worthwhile.
Basically, that is the truth of the situation.
At least you're honest.
No point denying it. Eddie, I've also just seen you give a very animated interview a couple before myself. Calm down now?
I'm fine. It's like Omar from IFL, right, who we know is like, Team Frank Warren. He's like, talking about Anthony Yard. And I said, you do these interviews. We offered Anthony Yard £1 million to fight Joshua Buatsi. And Yard came out in an interview and said, what it is, I've got a world title shot. It's like, no you haven't. It's like, yeah, I'm number one. It's like, well, you haven't been called for a world title shot. And Beterbiev fighting Joe Smith in July or whenever that's going to be. So the earliest you're going to get a world title shot is November, December, and also Canelo Alvarez is probably going to fight the winner anyway for the undisputed. So what are you? But no one asked him those questions. And Omar was just like, but the only reason you offered him that fight is because he's got a world title shot. He ain't got a fucking world title shot. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah. That's what you want from me though, isn't it? Do you want passion from me?
We need the passion, Eddie. We need the passion.
That's how strongly I feel about it. So go fuck yourself. I'm only joking. You're all right sometimes.
Eddie,
for a long time, Andy.
You've known me for 8 years, Eddie.
Is that right? Yeah.
Since I was 17.
Came in, you was like little tie on. Hi, all right there, mate. I'm Andy. Is there any work opportunities going with Metro? And I thought, you know what, I like you. I nearly gave you some work experience, and then you ended up getting a job here. You worked for Sky, didn't you?
I went with Sky for a bit, just for some work experience.
The resume's unbelievable.
Any regrets over that, Eddie?
What, not signing you? No, I do. You're a very good interviewer. A bit of a knob, but good interviewer.
All right, Eddie, on to the more serious talk. Obviously, we're here. It's for workouts, Taylor Serrano. I was trying to get your thoughts on something I didn't ask yesterday. Two things people have thought about ahead of his fight. In Katie's case, maybe the last few fights, she's shown she might be a little bit on the decline. And for Amanda stepping up in weight from when she last defended her world title, who do you think that will affect more? Either Amanda stepping up or Katie potentially being on the decline?
Just taking one at a time. Weight, not relevant at all. Like Amanda has boxed as low as bantam, I think as high as light welterweight. She is a big puncher. She looks in the head-to-heads bigger than Katie Taylor actually. Katie Taylor is a small lightweight, really. So I don't really take a lot from that. In terms of Katie Taylor's last couple of performances, I would say I don't think she's been overly motivated in those fights. And I've seen a completely different side of her in the build-up to this fight, in training camp, everything. If you said to her, maybe you weren't motivated for those last two fights, she'd go mad because she trains as hard. But subconsciously, she can't have been. How can you be motivated for those mandatory defences than you are to fight at Madison Square Garden in this kind of fight? So she's ready for this fight, don't worry, and looking forward to it.
I mean, beyond this, where does Katie's motivation lie? What does she want to go on to do, provided she's successful?
She just wants to keep on, changing the face of the sport and creating moments like this and being involved in fights like this. She lives and breathes boxing. So for her, this is her stomping ground, right? Saturday night, Madison Square Garden, sold out. This is what Katie Taylor is all about. So, when you look at it like that, you have to understand that this person, this special athlete, performs on the greatest of stages. And that's why I think you're going to get an epic performance from her on Saturday.
I spoke to Jesse Vargas yesterday and he was very pumped up. He's in an adamant mood. He will stop Liam Smith.
You boys have got to get that fight. I mean, that fight is a mega fight for the card. It's a fight that can headline in the US, in the UK, right? And you boys, you've got to keep ruffling that feather. Have you interviewed Liam Smith yet?
Not yet.
Right, he's over there. When you finish, I want you to say to him, Jesse Vargas made it very clear, he said he's going to knock you out. Which he did say that, right? Also, if you want to make some stuff up, it doesn't matter, right? Just say to him, he said that he's not a fan of Liverpool, right? Doesn't like Liverpool at all. Just throw a few bits in like that, Andy. But if you don't want to do that, at least allow to say what Jesse said. Try and get into him, man.
I will do that, Eddie, but not for you because it's my job. Obviously, just with Liam, how are you expecting him to approach this fight? Is there anything which Jesse brings different?
I think that Liam Smith is getting better. I think that Liam Smith is a true world-class fighter. I know he's a former world champion. I honestly believe that he can go in there and beat a lot of the 154-pound elite fighters. But this fight is fantastic because it's absolute must-win for both of them. Jesse Vargas is going to give it everything. Jesse Vargas has been quite quiet in this camp, right? And sometimes that's either because they're working really hard or actually they're at the end of their career. The first one. He turned up yesterday with Nonito Donaire and his team. He looked fantastic. He said, up at 154, I feel so good. It's going to be a firefight from the first round. In fact, this whole card is unbelievable. Thank me later, Andy. And as I said, back-to-back, for the people in the UK watching this, Taylor Serrano this weekend, Canelo Bivol the week after. Subscribe to DAZN if you don't already. Unbelievable night pending. Unbelievable night next weekend. Can I go now?
Not yet, no. Jesse Vargas said to me yesterday he'd be open to facing Cal Brook if something could be agreed at 154. Is it something you think could be possible?
Yeah, great fight. I mean, we tried to make that fight. That's why he actually ended up fighting Golovkin, because we couldn't make that fight. So we'll see, but we'll see what happens on Saturday. I say it's a real 50-50 fight.
So speaking about Liam, we got Callum Smith who'll be knocking about this week as well. What's the latest with Callum?
So he's here as well. He's going to fight on the AJ card. That's the plan for him. A little bit of treading water. You know, we talked about the yard situation. I mean, you could even see Callum Smith fighting one of those, the winner of Boatsi against Richards. He won't want to talk about that because he just wants a world title fight. But at the end of the day, if they're not there, you've got to make the biggest fights you can. So we'll see. But yeah, he'll be back July for the AJ card.
Something I've got to ask about yesterday, Eddie, is working with Jake Paul. What's it been like to work with Jake?
Been fantastic. You know, a situation where people ask me, oh, would you like Jake Paul? I don't really care if I like. I haven't even thought about it. He's great to work with. He's making the show massive, and you know, it's been a great experience.
You've obviously had your issues, shall we say, working with other promotional companies in the past. Is it made you maybe think about revisiting that, trying to kind of mend those bridges at all?
Do you know what, And? Right, I've definitely been very aggressive in the past, and probably rubbed people up the wrong way with what I just felt was banter. But let me tell you something now. I'm not going to go and pander to anyone. I'm not going to change and be a fake and go and start kissing asses trying to make fights. I'm not going to stop being outspoken in interviews to you where people don't like. You know, imagine I started going to you know what, and I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to upset someone. So I'll leave it. I haven't become what I've become by behaving like that. So do I need to be maybe a little bit more calm and low key when I'm addressing stuff? But I'm passionate. This is how I feel about certain situations, and I don't mind telling you about it. And some people will be watching even this interview, those people, and go, I ain't working with him, I can't stand him. You know, so it's like, what? At the end of the day, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to really go like, oh, I want to be a fake? I'm just going to tell you how it is. But the problem in boxing, going back to the Jake Paul situation, is people like worry about who you're dealing with, and that might give him a leg up, and I don't want to see him in front of the camera, and I'll just push him out, and it will make the fight much smaller, and we'll all earn a load of less money. Whereas like Jake Paul's, he's not been tarred by that brush yet, where he's just like Eddie Hearn. I mean, I don't really know, a bit of a prick, but whatever. But we're working really well together. We're selling out Madison Square Garden. We're making this fight bigger than anything anyone could ever anticipate. It's called smart business. There's too many idiots in the sport. And I'll stop now because I'm going to go back on what I said, aren't I? But you, if I don't speak the truth or speak my heart, you ain't going to hit the numbers. So I'm thinking about you as well.
How much do you think, because of how open you are, Eddie, that it does come back and maybe bite you back?
Massive. But guess what, Andy? I got to where I got to because of how open I was. I was the one that came out in the social and digital world and gave you everything you wanted to hear. I never shirked an interview. I never once. When have I ever said to you, oh, no, I can't talk about it? You've never gone to me. I've never said to you before an interview, oh, don't talk about this, don't talk about this. I've never asked you to edit an interview. Yet no one talks about the fact that promoters have called your channel and asked you to edit videos that they did, asked you to take out certain bits, asked you to do all that. I can't be bothered with that. You know, and at the end of the day, we do a great job for our clients. Could I have been a little bit less vocal in certain situations? Absolutely. Will I be in the future? Maybe. Fucking boring. Because this week, Andy, we're at Madison Square Garden, and next week we're at Las Vegas. And guess what? I'm so happy and I love it.
I was going to say that if anything's been going on with Boxing Social, but I don't know about interviews wise, that's got nothing to do with me, but if that's going in the
I
background.
know for a fact there's been a number of interviews on Boxing Social where promoters have asked for it to be taken down or not to go out or all this kind of stuff. And actually the editing bit is wrong for Boxing Social. I don't believe Boxing Social has edited stuff, but they've been asked to take things down. They've been told they can't do interviews if they don't take it down, all this bullshit. You think I would ever phone you after an interview and go, I can't believe I've said that, can you take it down? I don't care what I say, I speak the truth and I speak from the heart. Can I go now?
No, not yet. I mean, Eddie, just these days, I'm just happy to get a text back off you if I ask you for an interview. So
yeah, you won't get a text back from me, but I do see it.
Cheers for that, Eddie. Do you have my phone number saved in your phone?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you actually got my name saved as well?
It's Andy.
Well, at least that's something. Okay.
I'm terrible at saving numbers. There's numbers in my like text and WhatsApp, right? I feel like my old man's like that. He'll go, I've got a message. Does anyone know a number ending in 633?
Eddie, just a few more quick ones. Dillian White coming out once again, a couple more comments just to get your thoughts on. He said he's determined to avenge the losses in his career. And obviously that being against Tyson and AJ. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, AJ Dillian White, always be a big fight, always be a great fight. Now he's got to get back in action, get out again. But he's still a very good heavyweight. Big nights ahead for him still.
How difficult will it be for him to get another opportunity at a world title shot when you consider the titles being tied up with Usyk, AJ and Tyson?
You're only ever one fight away, one win away from a big fight. So, obviously we know the World Championships are a little bit held up at the moment, but let's see. I'm conscious because Liam Smith's behind. I want to see what kind of job you can do. When he's finished his William Hill interview, you need to grab him. Do you know how to do that?
What, to interview somebody?
No, to grab him, to go over there. Because this is what's going to happen. You're going to go over to Liam Smith and you're going to go, Liam, can I get an interview? And he's going to go, no, mate. What do you do in that situation?
I'll hassle him and I'll get him back at the hotel.
Good, you do that actually.
Yeah.
I remember once you were messaging me and you were like, can I get you before you leave? Can I get? And I thought, Vegas.
Hello.
Yeah. And I was rushing around trying to get to LA. And I thought, love Andy, but absolutely not. And I was walking through the lobby with my bags like in a rush. You come up, I went, Andy, I love you, but fuck right off. Anyway.
Eddie, right, one more Eddie, because I know you keep trying to shoot off. What do you make of Frank Warren's comments that if AJ was to overcome Usyk, then that would have to be a split in favour of Tyson Fury to make a Fury AJ?
No, I mean, how can you even comment? If AJ beats Usyk, I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. But anyway, it's irrelevant. For years and years, AJ agreed to give 50-50 to people that didn't deserve 50-50. But whatever. Look, nothing matters about that fight. All that matters is actually AJ beating Usyk. So once we get Canelo Alvarez fight out of the way, we'll announce that fight, and then he's got to go and do the business.
All right, Eddie, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Don't forget the interview.